are packaged for you as an individual, including optional add-ons tailored to your health journey. We have a variety of health checks to suit your age, gender, lifestyle, and family medical history. Visit healthcity.ky to find the health check package that suits you best and book your Health City health check today. At Health City, we know healthy looks different on everyone.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the Record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is Friday, the 11th day of August 2023, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Please ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, if you do so, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday and to remind you that this segment of the For the Record birthday shoutouts proudly brought to you by Pizza Boat. Pizza Boat, they are now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. So, folks, hop on to the Pizza Boat Express. Pizza Boats, they make deliveries. And you can also call to order online. You do so by calling 949-0000. Of course, the people at Pizza Boat, they make pizza even more fun. So much fun. And you have the privilege of enjoying pizza from the Pizza Boat Express. So you can call them on 949-0000 or order online via www.pizzaboat.ky. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you. We want to express our sincere condolences to the family of the late Mr. Enon Evans, stalwart here in the Cayman Islands, a long-serving member of the what was then called the police force, or now the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. So we want to extend our sincere condolences to his family, also to the family of Miss Lilith Harvey as well. We want to extend sincere condolences to them also. For those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands, we also wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning, it is the radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Acal, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided, courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. Follow us on YouTube. You do that simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Don't forget, we are on Facebook as well, so you can do all of those things. And remember that this segment of For the Record, the birthday shout-outs, are proudly brought to you by Pizza Boat. They are now open in Queens Court and West Bay Road. So, folks, hop on board the Pizza Boat Express. Pizza Boat. They make pizza even more fun. You can pick up or you can have it delivered. You do so simply by calling 949-0000, or you can order online, and you do so via www.pizzaboat.ky. We do have a caller online, and before we take that caller, I just want to say thank you for Simon Boxall, Dr. Steve McPhail, our own Talk Today superstar, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, for filling in for me during my break. Hadn't been off the island since 2019. I think we returned just a few days before our borders, before we had the COVID-19 situation and international borders started to close down as well. So it was really, really great to get some time off. Some of you may be saying, what kind of crazy person is this man? He's on vacation and he returns to work on Friday, when most people would take the weekend off and return on Monday. Well, folks, it's because I love what I do here on Radio Cayman, and I love it simply because I get an opportunity to interact with you. I get an opportunity to provide you with information, and at the same time to receive feedback from you as well. I also love it because I get an opportunity to give you an opportunity to interact with your elected officials, with your government leaders, either those in the civil service or elected officials as well. So while it's part-time, and that's all that I need, 3 days a week is fine with me, but I enjoy what I do. Certainly missed it while I was gone, and I'm not sure if I didn't do this, what I would do during my retirement age as well. So just to say to you, I love what I'm doing, and the reason I enjoy it is because of the interaction that I'm able to create between myself and our listening and viewing audience. So let's grab that first caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, OC. Welcome back. I missed you, man. You frightened me.
Good morning.
I thought you wasn't going to come back, man. I was nervous. But, Dr. McPhail did a good job while you were gone, and Mr. Sterling. They all did a good job.
Oh, yes.
But you built this thing, and, it's yours. It's yours. But I got some stuff I want to put on you, but you're fresh from your vacation, so I'm going to leave that till Monday to put on you. But you're back home. You're back home, and I don't care where you went. Back home is home for you.
Oh yes,
So,
there's no place like home. And caller, I must say that I actually kept in touch, and every morning I listened to Radio Cayman. In the afternoon, I listened to Talk Today, because remember now, I basically on a vacation, and while other family members were busy shopping and everything else, I decided I wanted to chill out a little bit and just relax. You know, at 72 years of age, the body needs to get that rest. You have to listen, you know, to the body as well. So I just decided that, you know, I'm going to take a break. Didn't even get on the bicycle in South Carolina, and I enjoy cycling over there because of cycling in the mountains and everything else. But even took a break from that. Sometimes you need to do that. But I certainly kept in touch with what was going on here in the Cayman Islands as well as the rest of the world, because, you know, my interest is world history, world politics, Cayman history, Cayman politics, and Cayman's future.
Yeah, well, I'm glad, Mr. Connor, you're back. And like I say, you built this thing, and don't let nobody destroy it. And one thing I'd like you to say is keep Dr. Markfield in there with you.
Oh, yes, no question.
Upset, and please keep him in there with you. I don't think he's there today, but get him on as much as possible, because we need some more people like him to explain what is happening, what's going on, and what's going to continue to go on in the island. So you have a wonderful day. Monday, I'll drop the load on you what I got.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for expressing those sentiments as well. And again, I want to repeat myself, you know, Mr. Simon Boxall, Dr. Steve Macfield, and our own Sterling Dwayne Ebanks from Talk Today did an excellent job covering, you know, for me. I listened every morning, and as a matter of fact, I called up on one occasion on Sterling Dwayne Ebanks' show, Talk Today, when we had representatives from the Cayman Islands Civil Service Cooperative Credit Union here, you know, as well, because some misinformation, misconceptions about the credit union, and I saw it as possibly doing irreparable reputational damage to the credit union, and I'm happy that they were able to come on and clear up some of the issues as far as the credit union is concerned, and we need to continue to push for the credit union. I believe sometime in October, is it International Credit Union Day as well, sometime next few months, so we will be celebrating our credit union. Before we go to the first commercial break, let's share some of the local news with you. I'm also going to repeat the release that the good news in terms of the government increasing the stipends for various categories of persons. That was good news. Of course, the opposition has put out a release also saying that they're happy that the premier and his government listened to their calls, you know, for those stipends to be increased. So I will share that with you. But we do have a press release that was issued by the Cayman Islands Airport Authority yesterday, and I will read it verbatim, you know, for you. And it reads: the Cayman Islands Airport Authority, CIAA, which operates the Owen Roberts International Airport on Grand Cayman and the Charles Colonel International Airport on Cayman Brac, experienced a security incident today, that was yesterday, the 10th of August, 2023, that occurred at Owen Roberts International Airport. The security incident occurred when an airline was diverted to Grand Cayman due to the temporary closure of the runway in Montego Bay, Jamaica. All diversion procedures were followed by airport, airline, and Customs and Border Control officials, and the 176 passengers on board were directed to a holding area inside the departure hall to await further instructions on continuing their journey. The wait time was expected to be approximately 3.5 hours, during which time some passengers ventured out of the holding area and mixed with other outgoing passengers in the departure hall, thus creating a security concern. Out of an abundance of caution and to maintain regulatory requirements, all passengers and personnel inside the departure hall were required to exit and be rescreened at the security checkpoint to ensure the integrity of the airport's security protocols. The Cayman Islands Airport Authority officials stated, and I quote, "The safety and security of our passengers is our top priority. Upon the detection of the incident, our trained security personnel acted swiftly to contain the situation and initiate the necessary security procedures. The incident, which affected 4 airlines, was quickly resolved with an average departure delay of 40 minutes. We are conducting a thorough investigation to understand the circumstances that led to this occurrence and collaborating closely with with airport partners and CBC officials. The Cayman Islands Airport Authority understands that the rescreening process caused inconvenience to its passengers and sincerely apologize for any disruption to their travel plans. However, these measures are vital to maintain the highest level of safety for everyone traveling through the airport. The Cayman Islands Airport Authority remains committed to upholding the highest standards of security and safety at Owen Roberts International Airport, and will continue to work diligently along with airport partners to prevent such incidents in the future, and appreciates the cooperation and understanding of its passengers during this time, and extends its gratitude to the public and passengers for their ongoing support and patience as they address this matter. So we want to thank the Cayman Islands Airport Authority for issuing that statement, explaining the circumstances, being what I see as quite transparent about the process as well. Folks, we're going to take our first commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Mary Jeanette Bodden, 1861 to 1934.
Mary Jeanette was the first trained midwife in Boddentown. She was trained by Commissioner George S.S. Hurst, a medical doctor who issued her a certificate of completion of her training. She was noted in town for her strict regimen of hygiene, and she delivered numerous healthy babies throughout the district, staying with the mother and caring for her baby for 9 days after the birth. She herself was the mother of 11 children, 3 of whom she lost to typhoid epidemics before the arrival of Commissioner Hurst. On the Commissioner's frequent weekend visits to Boddentown, Mary Jeanette and her husband Henry provided transportation for him, as Henry was a mail carrier and owned a horse and buggy.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
All aboard the Pizza Boat! Cayman's newest pizzeria. Birthday parties, office luncheons, summer camps, game night. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat at Cayman Twist to Pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Cayman, what if the ability to make better national healthcare decisions was on the tip of your finger? Would you take it? Because that's exactly where it is. The Ministry of Health and Wellness needs more people to do the finger prick blood measurement for the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Your participation gives us data which informs decisions that shape the nation's healthcare. Help us by saying yes to Step 3. For more information, contact the STEPS team on 936-4969 or email mhwsteps@gov.ky.
Do you own a business? Want a free, sleek new Samsung tablet? Then make sure you head on to Cannon Place Industrial Park, Georgetown on Friday, August 11th between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Yes, you heard right. Digicel Business is giving away a free Samsung tablet to all businesses that sign up only on Friday, August 11th at Cannon Place for their fast, reliable FiberX business broadband, now available in Georgetown and surrounding areas. It's time to give your business the competitive edge and make the switch. Call 345-623-2499 to find out more. Digicel Business. Fast, reliable FiberX broadband for your business.
Stop kicking that old washer or dryer and stressing out. Brand Source Home Gallery is having an August laundry sale. Save up to 15% on all brands. That's right, save up to 15% on GE, Samsung, LG, Beko, Frigidaire, Electrolux, and even heavy-duty commercial washers and dryers, both gas and electric. Shop Brand Source Home Gallery in August and find the island's largest selection of washers and dryers and save during the August laundry sale. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. So I'm going to extend the birthday shout-outs a little bit because I have some that go back. This one goes back to the 8th of August, and we had Miss Pat Jackson, who's a former colleague of mine, of ours, at the Immigration Department. So on the 8th of August, she celebrated her 80th birthday. I was contacted by her granddaughter, Miss Kanisha, and of course, Miss Pat. Her nickname is Elvis. All of the staff at the Immigration Department and the board's secretariat, they certainly enjoyed Miss Pat. She was always jovial, always had jokes to tell as well. So we want to wish Miss Pat Jackson a belated happy 80th birthday that she celebrated on the 8th of August. And we hope that she will live to see many, many, many more as well. So we also have on the birthday shout-outs today, Mr. Shane Collins. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Shane or Sean Collins, celebrating a birthday today. Also, Mr. Brian Braggs, celebrating a birthday today. On Sunday, we have Sarah Membrano celebrating a birthday. Sheila Hilton also celebrating a birthday on Sunday. Tomorrow we have, Troy Weeks, who is celebrating his birthday tomorrow as well. So happy birthday to all of those. Pluto Shervington celebrating a birthday also on Sunday, I believe it is as well. So, folks, I shared with you the press release from the Cayman Islands Airports Authority. But I also want to talk a little bit about the airport. And, we get criticisms about the extension, about the costs of extensions. We get suggestions about the airport being relocated to another part of the island, something that I certainly don't support, because I believe then that you're creating more traffic issues, whereas the airport is basically located midway between the two extremes of the island. You put an airport up in the Eastern District, then what are you going to do about the people from West Bay, all of our tourist area having to travel all of that distance? That means more traffic on the road to go to Eastern, unless you're going to ferry them there either by helicopter to get them to the airport, or if you're going to use vessels, ocean-going vessels to transport them there. So I don't think that that's a good idea. But expansion of the airport, it's like people talk about the population of the Cayman Islands and we want it to reach 100,000. Do you really believe that if it reaches 100,000 persons that it's going to stay at 100,000? I am sure that out of those many individuals out of that 100,000 are going to be having children. So it's going to increase. That is why you allow it to increase naturally rather than forcing it on. Same with the airport. If we are going to continue to be an attractive tourist destination, if we're going to have a larger population, then we have to have the facilities to be able to accommodate them. And don't get me wrong, what I've seen in the airport since I traveled last is really a huge improvement, the expansion, but don't for 1 minute believe that it has to stop there. We are going to continue to grow and grow. I remember when 1984, when the new terminal opened up, and before it was occupied, we had already outgrown it. We did an expansion. We outgrew that. We did another expansion, and we're now about to outgrow that as well. So if we want to remain a successful and attractive tourist destination, along with all of the other transportation needs that we have, then we have to do due care and diligence to our airports to ensure that traffic can move efficiently and effectively. And you can only do that if you have the required space, for it. So don't criticize our current Minister for Tourism and Ports on that issue, or any future Minister for Tourism as well. Don't criticize them for the investments that they're making, because it is necessary. And we do what we have to do to for those funds. I see on social media where people are talking about when the increase in airport taxes to accommodate those things. They do it everywhere. And some are saying, well, the airlines, American Airlines or whichever one, don't want that to happen. When those airlines are ready to increase their prices on you, they do so. Have you ever tried booking online for a ticket, and once you have put in the parameters that you want to travel from this point to that point, the next point, and if you don't accept that, try going in a few hours or a few minutes later on and see how the price increases. Those airlines do what they have to do to increase their revenue, whether it is for dividends to their shareholders or otherwise. The Cayman Islands government needs to do the same thing as well if we're going to provide the quality service that is required. Folks, that's enough for my rant. And this section of the show, we're going to our 8 o'clock news. When we return, we have more to talk about. I have received several WhatsApp messages, have not been able to access them yet. I will do that during the break for the news. And when we return, the conversation will continue. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check now, 8 a.m. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Hey, have you started preparing for hurricane season yet?
Not yet. I'm not sure where to start.
Well, making a grocery shopping list is a good place to begin. You'll want to stock up on non-perishable food items like canned goods, peanut butter, and crackers.
What about water?
Definitely. You'll want to have plenty of bottled water on hand. And don't forget about hygiene and first aid supplies.
That's a good point.
Foster's has a great emergency kit checklist online. Just go to fosters.ky or look out for the helpful signs when shopping in store. Foster's. Better because we care.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller.
So our first award of the evening, the Davenport Development Arts and Culture Award. The winner is, can I get a drum roll? Frankie Flower.
The Cayman Connection Making Waves Award honored Caymanians in 9 categories living overseas who've made outstanding contributions to and excelled in their respective fields at a regional or global level at a special event held at the National Gallery Thursday night. Premier the Honorable Wayne Panton.
The pride that we show as Caymanians in celebrating these young people, it's just reflective of our appreciation for what they add to our lives and how they represent our country.
Categories included arts and culture, STEM, environment and sustainability, sports, financial, legal and professional services, education, health and wellness, tourism, travel and hospitality, and inclusion. Cayman Connection is a global membership network for groups and individuals connected to Cayman and is an affiliate of the Cayman government in conjunction with their government office in the UK and the Department of Tourism. Consolidated Water's second quarter financials show a 110% increase in revenues to $44.2 million. Other highlights included a 16% bump in retail revenue to $7.6 million, a 377% spike in services revenue to $24 million, and net income attributed to company stockholders was $7.5 million. That means 47 cents per diluted share. That's up 178% from $2.7 million, or just 18 cents per share during the same period last year. Operational highlights for Cayman in Q2 included a 14% increase in the volume of water sold in Grand Cayman's retail segment, primarily due to increased tourist activity on the island. The countdown is on, and parents are invited to bring their kids to a back-to-school blowout at Annex Field this weekend.
This event is all about giving back to our local charities and our students who are returning to school this year. We will be having lots of prizes and surprises, back-to-school giveaways, music, games, and fun for all ages. Food and refreshments will be on sale from our vendors, and we have amazing sponsors. We're looking forward to seeing everyone come out this year. And Mr. Lloyd Barker will be our host.
Kashikia Brown tells Radio K-Man there will also be a football and netball competition with cash prizes. It's all taking place on the 13th from 1 until 7 p.m. Admission is $5 for kids and $8 for adults, with part of the proceeds benefiting the Cancer Society and the Lloyd Barker Foundation. Are you a young person looking to give back to your community? Well, Rotaract is hosting a boat party with your name on it. Past President Shakir Johnson tells Radio K-Man on this year's cruise craft getaway, you can enjoy snacks and great music while learning more about the club and meeting some of its members.
It's August 13th and the boat leaves at 12:30. The event costs $30 to, cover food, the place on the boat, and things of that nature. So if you'd like to register, please get in contact with us on our social media at Rotaract CGC, and that's on Instagram and Facebook.
You can also email for the 21 and older event by messaging rotaractkman@gmail.com. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. China says it's uncovered a spy working for the CIA. The State Security Ministry said the Chinese national, known only by the surname Tsang, was employed at a military organization. The governor of Hawaii says it will take many years to repair the damage caused by wildfires on the island of Maui. 55 people are now known to have died and thousands have been displaced. New figures suggest the number of migrants crossing the Mediterranean Sea to reach Europe has doubled in the past year. The most common countries people left from were Egypt, Guinea and Ivory Coast. A South African civil rights organisation, AfriForum, has accused the Prisons Department of helping the former president, Jacob Zuma, evade justice. Earlier, the authorities announced Mr. Zuma would not have to spend more time in jail. The EU says Niger's president is being held in deteriorating conditions under house arrest, and they called for his immediate release. Mohamed Bazoum was ousted in a military coup last month. US government data shows that 49,500 people took their own lives last year, the highest number ever recorded. Deaths rose 8% in people aged over 65. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio K-Man with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio K-Man app in the App Store or log on to www.radiokman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio K-Man, your voice, your choice, your radio.
He had founded it upon the seas. The importance of laying strong foundations runs deep in our Cayman Islands. And sometimes those foundations are laid up high in the sky. As Cayman Airways celebrates their 55th birthday, we remember the foundation they had laid for us. The bridges built, connecting Caymanians to the world. Memories made, dreams fulfilled.
On behalf of the Cayman Airways family, thank you Cayman Islands for 55 years of support for your national flag carrier. And here's to many more.
Always separate debris from household garbage after a hurricane hits. Debris includes roofing materials, downed tree branches, and metals. All items of debris must be placed in separate piles to the front of the property or at a side that is easily accessible to collection trucks. Debris must be placed in a location that will not cause obstruction to roadways or come in contact with electrical lines.
For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DAH website at www.gov.ky/DAH.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, my friends. Let's take a look at your Friday morning's weather. Compliments of our friends at CG Britcay. Present temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very hot and sunny on the outside. With the sun on your back, it feels like about 104 right now. Winds are calm. Relative humidity 81%. Last night's low was at 84 degrees Fahrenheit. The barometric pressure still at 20 and holding it. A tropical wave currently over Hispaniola is expected to move east of our area this afternoon, leading to an increase in shower activity. The wave is expected to move west of our area overnight, with showers continuing through tomorrow morning. So the forecast for today calls for partly cloudy skies with a 40% chance of the afternoon shower and possible thunder. Temperatures will rise to the low 90s with a heat index of 107 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east to southeast, becoming east to northeast by the afternoon at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Later this evening, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will fall to the lower 80s. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. We're in a high tide. Low tide will be at 1:12 this afternoon and high again at 7:57 this evening. Sunset for this Friday is at 6:54, and the outlook is for a decrease in showers by Sunday morning as the tropical wave moves further west of Cayman. That, my friends, is your latest weather update. Compliments of our friends at CG Britcay.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you want to go scuba diving on your vacation, don't bedazzle your wetsuit. And you think you look great, but what you don't realize is that you look like a shiny, scaly fish. And it won't take long for a shark to notice you. Next thing you know, you're busting out every karate move you got. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance and get airlifted out to the closest hospital.
Get coverage for emergency evacuations. CG Britcay. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. There's no great success without commitment.
As motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, individuals who succeed have a belief in the power of commitment. If there's a single belief that seems almost inseparable from success, it's that there's no great success without commitment. If you look at successful people in any field, you'll find they're not necessarily the best and the brightest, the fastest and the strongest. You'll find they're the ones with the most commitment.
Change your thinking. Change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. Encourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman. Health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Very quick synopsis of the traffic movements in Grand Cayman. Of course, looking at the traffic coming out of the eastern districts, free flow of traffic until getting onto the Linford Pearson and similar onto Crew Road, where you will run into some slow moving traffic. Expect like about 10 to 15 minutes delays. Crew Road, looking down from the Hosey's gas station, crawling traffic at the moment. And turning onto the northward bound lane, if you're heading into the Georgetown area, you'll experience that traffic. Similar with lots of traffic on the Bobby Thompson Way as well. Also on Huldah Avenue, crawling traffic as you make your way to CNB roundabout, but starts to disperse as you make your way to the inner streets, Elgin Avenue, Thomas Russell Way, and continuing on. The Butterfield roundabout, of course, much expected traffic this time of the afternoon, but it's slow moving. And of course, looking at Godfrey Dixon Way, traffic as you make your way onto Eastern Avenue. Shannon Road, light traffic this time of the morning. And of course, Edward Street, similar with Seafarers Way. No cruise ships in, so not much pedestrian movements in. North Church Street and West Bay Road, fair to find with moderate traffic. Looking at the Island Heritage roundabout, traffic cam, where the new refuel station is being built. Traffic flowing smoothly along the Ashley Tibbetts. And of course, heading towards the airport to catch a flight. Very light traffic along Roberts Drive. Cayman Brock, a little Cayman, light traffic this time of the morning. Buckle up and stay safe, my friends. Your traffic report coming your way. Compliments of our friends at Subway.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Yo, big up Massive. Summer is here and Digicel got the vibes flowing straight to Jamaica. That's right, me people. Digicel has a sizzling offer for you. Top up for your loved ones in a Jamaica and you get a chance to win the ultimate trip to the land of sun, sea and good vibes. To enter for the free trip to Jamaica, just send top up to your loved ones back home with Digicel and you automatically qualify. Remember, the more top up you send, the higher the chance you win. So make sure you don't miss out on the fun. Me people, get the summer vibes flowing with a top up for your loved ones with Digicel and get ready for a trip of a lifetime.
The public is invited to attend a town hall meeting at the Georgetown Public Library on the 15th of August at 6:30 p.m. for a discussion regarding the proposed Sexual Harassment Bill 2023. The meeting will be streamed live from the government's YouTube and Facebook page. Questions may be submitted on Facebook. The Sexual Harassment Bill protects everyone living, visiting, or working in the Cayman Islands. Everyone should understand their rights and feel empowered to utilize the protection afforded to them. Join the conversation. Visit gov.ky/sexual harassment.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. We have several WhatsApp messages. We have some additional birthday greetings as well. I'm going to share those with you. So we have Amelia Wood who celebrating a birthday. Now I'm also, I have Amelia Wood who celebrated a birthday on Wednesday. I hope I'm getting this right. And then someone else sent one and saying Amelia celebrating a birthday today. So I'm not sure whether or not Amelia Wood and Amelia, whether they're the same person, but stand to be corrected. And if you could pass additional information on that for me, I would certainly appreciate it as well. Then we have Miss Julie Manderson Johnson celebrating a birthday, and BG Turner also celebrating a birthday. So we want to continue to extend those birthday greetings going out as well. I also want to send out sincere condolences to the family of the late Mr. Regal Jackson, also, who passed away, lost his life while I was away as well. So I want to express sincere condolences to them. So one of our listeners also sent out and said they enjoyed that song by Mr. George Shillette entitled Love. And Paul, there was a second song that was by Pappy Conley, Sammy as well. They're saying that they enjoyed that music also. What else do we have here that I want to share with you before? Yeah, so yes. So I was told that birthdays today, Amelia Wood, Julia Madison Johnson, and Beja Turner. And then someone else sent me another message that said Amelia celebrated her birthday on Wednesday. So if there are two different Amelias, so Amelia, who celebrated her birthday on Wednesday, belated happy birthday to you. Amelia Wood, who we're told is celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to your listeners.
Good morning, Billy. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. But for this morning alone, I give a special good morning to you rather than to your listeners, although I give the greeting to both, okay?
Thank you.
Well, first of all, let me begin by saying that, you see, I was telling Dwayne when he was deputizing for you that if he ever needed to have two jobs, at least he can claim that during your absence, he had the illusion of having two jobs. Yeah, so now, well, welcome back, of course.
Thank you.
I don't have a whole lot to say, but just one thing which I did put to Dwayne. I did mention to him that it might be useful to consider, this Radio Cayman can consider having either one panel discussion or maybe a series of panel discussions on some major issues relating to initially the Constitution, but also just things that are happening in the community and so on. I chatted with him a little bit on his show yesterday, and he thought that it is something he might consider taking on. And so I just want to pass that on to you as well, OC, because from the people I interact with in Cayman, clearly there is a desire in the community for fundamental change. From the last time that Dr. Steve spoke, I think on your show, he did say that his committee had made drastic changes in relation to immigration. But I think there's a question as to whether there needs to be drastic changes overall in a lot of areas, particularly affecting the Constitution.
Okay.
So,
now, were those changes or recommended changes?
Oh, yes, certainly, yes. They are recommended changes, yes. But anyway, all I'm suggesting also is perhaps a series of discussions involving current politicians, past politicians, respected people in the community, and maybe some technical people, including the Constitutional Commission, which already does, I think, a good job of engaging with the community.
They certainly do.
A series of discussions on the radio programs can be held. Perhaps it might help the community. Otherwise, that's all I wanted to share with you this morning.
Before you go, my friend, I had quite a bit of time to think and to if you could call it self-debate on certain issues, and the one that continues not to perplex me, but we were having a discussion while I was away about the need for Caymanians who have not been granted status by a board to provide evidence that they are Caymanian in several instances. The most important one is when they're applying for a job, and if they have been accepted for that job, employers are saying, you need to show us that you're Caymanian because we do not have the ability to interpret immigration law, especially law that has been changed so many times in the Cayman Islands. We want you to provide us with evidence that you Caymanian, which I think to a certain extent is a reasonable request if, and I say this, if, with emphasis, their intention is to ensure that they're not breaking the law as opposed to trying to victimize a Caymanian. So if their intention is to ensure that they do not break the law, you can understand their reasoning for asking for it. But, I think we have, moved a step backward, and it's an indictment on our society that natural-born Caymanians have to go to the immigration department or Customs and Border Control, whatever, to provide a letter saying that because of X, Y, Z, we have determined that this person possesses Caymanian status. And what do we do about that? Then the other part was that I was looking at the British Nationality Act and looking at our immigration law. And you recall in 2009, we removed the requirement in our Constitution for a person to be a British Overseas Territory citizen. One of the criteria to be a British Overseas Territory citizen in order to qualify as an elector. That was removed. So in addition to all of the other qualifications, all you needed to do was to be a Caymanian. Now we have tied our grant of Caymanian status in certain instances to the person being a British Overseas Territory citizen. So we have tied the UK legislation, the UK's definition of our citizenship to our grant of Caymanian status, and whether or not we need to do similar or the opposite of what we did with the qualifications as an elector, and remove that requirement for a person to be a British Overseas Territory citizen, and just basically, if you're going to retain status on grounds of residence, then it should be on that. But what we're basically doing is we're forcing people, right? Forcing people to become a British Overseas Territory citizen. We have already given them the right to reside in the Cayman Islands. We are making them a British Overseas Territory citizen in order to get Caymanian status. So we're adding one more layer of protection. I shouldn't call it protection, but one more layer of security for them. What do you think about that?
So that you, even if you had Caymanian status, that you need also to be a BOTC
there should,
for you to be able to...
No, there should be no connection between your ability to acquire Caymanian status and being a British Overseas Territory citizen, because that link is there now.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to establish. So that link is there now. But what is the rational reason for that? Because I would imagine that once you get Caymanian status, you have become, for lack of a better term, a citizen of Cayman. You are now, Caymanian in terms of the immigration law.
Right.
Why should it also be necessary for you to be a BOTC? You see, this is just in the broader context as well. Just how many hoops, how many impediments the law seems to put in place for people to be able to do certain things. I really don't personally, since you've asked me, I don't think that it should be necessary, because I don't find any rational reason for you to have that.
I can tell you what the thinking was at the time, right? When was that if we're going to grant Caymanian status to an individual, we want to make sure to ensure that they have crossed all of the boxes have been ticked off. I think that perception that was wrong, because we should never have tied British Overseas Territory citizenship to anything that we are empowered to do locally. We should not have tied that. When changes are made to the British Nationality Act, very rarely are we ever consulted by the United Kingdom government to say, well, we want to change this in relation to acquiring that citizenship. The UK has basically said that is done under UK law, the British Nationality Act 1981.
81, yes.
Yes. That is done under that, and we have control over that. So we should say, yes, okay, you have control over that. You're able to confer that citizenship. But what we should do, the same way that we have said, we're not tying our elections law to your ability to be a British Overseas Territory citizen. We're not tying our Caymanian status to that as well. Because to me, it gives the UK government a stronger argument when we try to clamp down on our status if we retain that in there, because they're going to say, we have a say in this to a certain extent because you're dealing with our citizens. Understand what I'm saying?
You see, the way you have elaborated it now, I've got actually very little to add, because you see, when they make certain decisions regarding what makes you qualify as a BOTC and so on and so forth, I mean, they do say, okay, fine, if you've met a certain requirements, I think it's 9 years, you get PR after 8, and then after 9, you get BOTC. In the way that the factors they consider under the British Nationality Act, they don't care too much about what is taking place in Cayman. Why do we have in Cayman to bring in that requirement? It's almost like a colonial kind of thinking. It's almost as if we are saying that you cannot vote in Cayman even after being there for 15 years unless you can show that you are in some way loyal to the British government through having a BOTC. I just don't see how that should be a requirement at all, because after all, when you eventually do vote, you are voting for a self-governing government in the Cayman Islands. I don't see why it should be tied down to that. But the way I think of it is also just a colonial way of thinking. The way it is usually said that, there is a government and then there is Her Majesty's loyal opposition. It's almost as if you are trying to get Caymanian voters to be also loyal to the British government, which is good if they want to be, but I don't see that it should be a requirement there. Do you have time to deal with the second point?
Well, we have to go to a commercial break, but if you want to stay on the line, we can come back to that. I just want to say that, this was of our own doing, unfortunately, and maybe at the time when this was done that we really couldn't foresee what was going to occur in the Cayman Islands in terms of development and population explosion. We're going to take a commercial break. Billy, hang on there. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Cayman, what if the ability to make better national healthcare decisions was on the tip of your finger? Would you take it? Because that's exactly where it is. The Ministry of Health and Wellness needs more people to do the finger prick blood measurement for the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Your participation gives us data which informs decisions that shape the nation's healthcare. Help us by saying yes to Step 3. For more information, contact the STEPS team on 936-4969 or email mhwsteps@gov.ky.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
He had founded it upon the seas. The importance of laying strong foundations runs deep in our Cayman Islands. And sometimes those foundations are laid up high in the sky. As Cayman Airways celebrates their 55th birthday, we remember the foundation they have laid for us. The bridges built, connecting Caymanians to the world. Memories made, dreams fulfilled.
On behalf of the Cayman Airways family, thank you, Cayman Islands, for 55 years of support for your national flight carrier. And here's to many more.
Can you tell me, what does a turtle do on his birthday? He celebrates.
Celebrate your loved one's special birthday with a birthday shout-out live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor, only on Radio Cayman. WhatsApp your loved one's name to 925-3261. That's 925-3261. Radio Cayman's birthday shout-outs live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Sponsored by Pizza Boat. Now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery. Call 949,000 or order online at www.pizzaboat.ky.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio. I do have Mr. Billy on the line. He called in about something he was going to make his conversation very short, but I have extended it by asking some questions of him himself, and I'm going to share this with you because this is related to the other question in relation to proof of a Caymanian. The person writes and says that speaking of the proof required to prove that a generational Caymanian is a Caymanian, can you speak to how this is done in other overseas territories or other Caribbean countries? I have spoken to a number of persons and none of them have ever experienced this. I don't understand why are we always reinventing the wheel. Can't we just look at how others have successfully done this same thing? And I'm going to just say there before I invite you back in to speak, Billy, that we need to place at the foot of our government and the government in place at that point in time, because they failed to nip this situation in the bud when it first reared its ugly head. And to me, they could have introduced some sort of legislation, some sort of directive or guidance to employers, potential employers, that if you have done your due diligence and have shown that you have made sufficient effort to determine that the person is Caymanian, that is all is required. Now, Billy, you're the lawyer. You tell me whether or not that would have sufficed.
Well, first of all, thanks to that person who has communicated, because that person is absolutely right. There are ways in which these things are done. In other jurisdictions, they have a national identification document. Once you become a citizen, you get something which is similar to like a driver's license, and that is your national identification document. If you talk about, for example, people in Cayman who are from other Caribbean countries and from the Central America and so on, they have a national identification document. So why that hasn't been done, I don't know.
Well, it's in the works. It's in the works. Remember now, we Mr. Tibbetts, Ian Tibbetts is in charge of that, so that's coming along.
Yes, so that's coming along. Just the question, of course, is why is it taking so long? But it's good that it's being done. You see, the other way. Okay, you have pointed out, O.C., that some people might be, are trying to be careful that they don't want to break the law. But I'm quite sure that among those people, not everybody is trying to avoid breaking the law, because I think sometimes an indirect way of keeping Caymanians out.
Yes,
I mean,
yes. It's a veiled way, yes, yeah.
A veiled way for some people, maybe not all of them. And I had a chance to engage Dwayne and Mario Ebanks on the show on this very issue. And one way to solve it very quickly, they could pass a regulation. One Tuesday, fine Tuesday morning, they can pass a regulation which says that every employer shall accept a voter's card as evidence that somebody is a Caymanian, period. Now, if they wanted to be draconian, they could even say that if you refuse to accept that, it's a criminal offense, and cabinet under regulations has got the power to impose a penalty of, I think it is about $1,000 and even an imprisonment of up to about a year or something like that. In other words, they can obligate everybody to accept a voter's card as evidence of your citizenship, and they can do that by regulation. And if they want, they can even make it criminal, and that can be done within a matter of days. Why they haven't done that, I'm not quite sure. But going back to the legalities of it, there is a provision. I won't get into the Latin because it's radio. I might send it to you in the email. But basically it says that once a document is issued by government, all the procedures that are supposed to precede that can be presumed to have been properly taken. So that, in other words, if you provide a voter's card, and under law you can't get a voter's card unless you are a Caymanian, then the employer has to assume that you are a Caymanian. Give an example, for example, of when, let us say that they are inspecting, the bars and the restaurants and so on, and they say, hey, where's your liquor license? You produce an original liquor license, you say, here it is. They can't ask you, well, can you produce the minutes of the liquor licensing board's meeting where this certificate was decided to be issued? No. You presume that all those legal requirements were complied with. Why? Because the final result is there before you. Now, if there is reason specifically to doubt that is not genuine, then that's a different issue altogether. But in closing on this, I love to listen to Steve. He tells a very nice, well, I don't, it's not a nice story. He tells a very story in his inimitable way how one time he came back to Cayman and he got to the airport and he almost didn't come in because they said, where is the proof that you're a Caymanian? He gives that story. And a friend of mine from the law school also told me a story way back about how when it was time for them to pay the fees, the authorities in Truman Borden Law School said, okay, all of you now, those of you who are Caymanian or Caymanian status holders, can you provide evidence so that you can pay the lower fee, okay? All the status holders were able to fill out a document to say, here it is. The indigenous multi-generational Caymanian didn't have a document, and they had to go to immigration and wait, days, if not weeks, for them to produce that. I think that can be dealt with ultimately by just a regulation. It doesn't even have to be a bill going to Parliament. It is a regulation which they can do one Friday afternoon to just obligate employers to accept that, and that will be so.
Thank you very much, Billy, for that.
Thanks for the time.
Yep, and just as a footnote to that discussion, many generational Caymanians, and rightly so, really feel put back by having to do this. And again, it goes to show you, to a certain extent, the passiveness of our Caymanian society, because they complain, but they go ahead and do it anyway. And sometimes that is good, sometimes that is not so good. And I think in this particular case, this is where we really need to draw the red line. We really should have drawn the red line here.
And that's why you need the constitutional discussion, which I'm suggesting. I think so. But I thank you all.
Because I believe this is discriminating against Caymanians, really. It has.
It is. It is actually an indignity, I would say, to have to make Caymanians go through.
Certainly.
Yes.
Thank you, Billy. Paul, we have another caller on hold, but why don't we take the commercial break? Because they will only have about 2 minutes. They may want longer period of time, and that's a caller. Hang in there. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we will take your calls, so please stay tuned.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Hey, is your phone slow, overheating, and dropping important calls? Don't fret. This summer, it's time to flip out with Digicel. Introducing the all-new Samsung Flip 4 with its sleek design and cutting-edge features. You'll flip into the summer in style and confidence. This summer, you can grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4, all just for $145. Flip into the summer with Digicel. Visit a Digicel store near you and grab the all-new Samsung Flip 4 and the amazing 7-day Prime Ultra plan today.
K-Man, what if the ability to make better national healthcare decisions was on the tip of your finger? Would you take it? Because that's exactly where it is. The Ministry of Health and Wellness needs more people to do the finger prick blood measurement for the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Your participation gives us data which informs decisions that shape the nation's healthcare. Help us by saying yes to Step 3. For more information, contact the STEPS team on 936-4969 or email mhwsteps@gov.ky.
Stop kicking that old washer or dryer and stressing out. Brand Source Home Gallery is having an August laundry sale. Save up to 15% on all brands. That's right, save up to 15% on GE, Samsung, LG, Beko, Frigidaire, Electrolux, and even heavy-duty commercial washers and dryers, both gas and electric. Shop Brand Source Home Gallery in August and find the island's largest selection of washers and dryers and save during the August laundry sale. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio K-Man.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have two callers on hold. This caller has been waiting for quite a while. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay, and you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. I have something I would like to read from King Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
Many fall victim to cruelty and oppression, finding themselves in a helpless situation. What makes things worse is that there are people in powerful positions who, instead of upholding justice, oppress their poor fellow men. Thank you very much, Mr. O'Connor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that. And certainly very wise, very insightful, and something that we wish many leaders, not only here in the Cayman Islands, but throughout the world, should listen to. Of course, there are those who crave for power to fulfill their own personal ambitions. There are those who suffer from certain mental defects to a certain extent that drive them in that direction as well. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Connor.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We got some rain finally up here. Appreciate that. Anyways, this is Carrie Tibbetts. I have to call and support what Mr. Samamba said. Of course, I agree with everything because I, too, experienced a situation several years ago with having to provide proof that I was a Caymanian. I was applying for a job, and the HR manager was, of course, not a Caymanian, and had no idea who I was. And I produced my voter's card, I produced my birth certificate, I produced my passport, and I was told none of those documentation actually supported the fact that I was a Caymanian. I would have had to go to immigration now and get this particular document. Come to find out, because of the year I was born, I didn't need that document to show that I would prove that I was a Caymanian. It only took effect after so many years after I was born. And I went back and told that to the HR manager, and she still didn't accept it. She said that she still needs this document to prove I'm a Caymanian. And say, look, I don't need this job. If this is what I have to go through to get this job, to prove that I'm a Caymanian, you're here on a work permit, you're not a Caymanian, I said, what's the point of me trying to come and work for you if this is the ridicule that I have to go through to get this job?
But maybe they wanted you to react that way.
You see, they're setups as well. And I am aware of many others who've gone through this situation that have just backed off and said, look, I'm in the same predicament. And they've told me the same story. And I'm like, why? You can't be any more Caymanian than you are. Your roots are so deep that they wouldn't be able to dig them up. And they're going to come here on a permit and tell you got to prove who you really are. And the worst part about the whole scenario of that, there are notary publics certifying your government official documents for you to go and get those that proof that you're a Caymanian, and the notaries that are certifying some of these documentations are not even Caymanian themselves. Now you tell me.
But just for clarity, when you're notarizing a document, right, or you're certifying it, you may be attesting to the fact that the person signed it in front of you, or the notary may be saying, this is an original document that was presented to me to notarize. I don't think that the notary public is actually attesting to what the document says. I think we need to make that clear.
Okay, well, in this situation, you had to produce your original document, your original birth certificate, your passport, which a copy of that would have been attached for them to certify that yes, they've seen the original.
They've seen it,
this is a true copy of it. And the same for any other IDs that you would have had, driver's license, voter's card. Your voter's card is the only identifying piece of instrument in this country that the government has given you that proves you're a Caymanian, not your passport, not your birth certificate, your voter's card, because only Caymanians can vote. So why is it that HR managers in this country don't want to accept that as proof that you are a Caymanian? That is actually a disenfranchised to our people.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, caller. Have several WhatsApp messages as well. This person has written and said, what should the citizenship of a Caymanian or a person with Cayman status be? I'm not sure that Caymanian status is our equivalent of citizenship, but I'm not sure that if we grant Caymanian status to someone that we have to certainly grant any type of citizenship, because we can assume to a certain extent that this person already has citizenship. Now, where it becomes a little bit tricky is that no government is allowed, or should be is allowed, not to say that they don't do it, a person should not remain stateless, or they should not be made stateless. Some of you may be familiar with I forget the name, the first name, but Begum, Begum, is the last name of a British citizen who is of either Bangladesh or Pakistani citizenship, who joined ISIS. She is now located in a camp in Syria. She was stripped of her United Kingdom citizenship by the Home Secretary because of her activities with ISIS. And they have claimed that she is not stateless because she can acquire her citizenship, or she has it by virtue of the operation of the laws of the country where her parents are from. So I don't think that we need to assign status to citizenship, because I believe in granting status that the individual already has citizenship. Now, it may be a situation that if you acquire, and I'm not aware of any country that has done this, if you acquire Caymanian status, that you automatically lose your citizenship, of your original citizenship, but I'm not sure it's the case. So the person says, is it important? I don't believe that it is important for us to tie status to citizenship. Person goes on to say, because Caymanian status is not a citizenship, which they are correct. And then they go on to say that the document that you get from the immigration is the equivalent of a national identification in the interim. Not everyone will be registered as a voter. The challenge that we have is that being born in Cayman does not necessarily make you a Caymanian. Absolutely correct. And we don't want that to be the case for obvious reasons. So when people refer to being a born Caymanian, they feel that is a right that is based on being born here, but it's being born here with other conditions which need to have been existing at the time, which will have to be proven. And then the person goes on to say they could use the voter card for those that have it, which everyone agrees as well. Go on to say there might be a consideration for consistency as well, that all Caymanians are BOTC subjects. That's the one that I opined on before, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that we should tie it at all. Remember now that the British government, when they extended citizenship to us in 2002, they said you only activate that citizenship. The way you get it, you activate it by applying for a British passport. So if you don't apply for that British passport, you're really not considered, if you're already a British Overseas Territory citizen, you're not considered a British citizen until you apply for that British passport as well. They go on to say, if the UK sent assistance for its citizens, as most Caymanians are British Overseas Territory citizens, if there are Caymanians who are not British Overseas Territory citizens, should they be separate in terms of assistance for the UK for its citizens? Just some possible considerations. And I would answer that as well. Let me read that again. If the UK sends assistance for its citizens, as most Caymanians are British Overseas Territory citizens, we all are British Overseas Territory citizens. If you, except for those who have to be registered as British Overseas Territory citizens. But the British Nationality Act lays out, if you're born inside, a territory, outside a territory. So what shouldn't be lost in all of this is that at one point in time, we were a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies. Then we were called British Dependent Territory citizen. We now call British Overseas Territory citizen. The umbrella over that all is that we belong to the British. No matter how much we like or may not like that, we belong to the British. And that will remain until such time as we decide to become a sovereign nation ourselves as well. And the person also says that they agree on the voter card, so that should be enough. And we agree with that. It's just that our governments have really not pushed the way that we need that to be pushed. Do we have any callers on hold, Paul? No callers on hold at this point in time. Do I have enough time to read this other one? Okay, let's... Person says, good morning. I trust that our government and the planning board officials are taking note of the fires and destruction taking place now in the Hawaiian island of Maui. This is relevant to the Cayman Islands as we rush forward with the encouragement of certain members of parliament with increasing our density, and also that what they mean there is a population density, and also the heights. Well, it could be population density, or it could be the density of housing as well, and the heights of our buildings. We should take note of that as well. Folks, top of the hour headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, the conversation will continue. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's wisdom news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
The Cayman Connection Making Waves Awards honored 10 Caymanians in 9 categories. Those who are living overseas who've made outstanding contributions to and excelled in their respective fields at a global level. The event was held at the National Gallery Thursday night. The number of people killed in the Hawaii wildfires has risen to 55, and hundreds more said to be missing on the island of Maui. Governor Josh Green has called the fires, quote, catastrophic and the largest in the state's history, with 80% of historic seaside town Luahana, quote, gone. Survivors have described their escapes from the flames, with one man telling the AFP news agency, quote, everything is just red, it's all dust and wind. Tens of thousands of visitors have been evacuated, while 11,000 people remain without power on the western side of the island. Firefighters have been battling to contain Maui's wildfires, which began on Tuesday and were fueled by winds from a hurricane. U.S. President Joe Biden has issued a, quote, major disaster declaration, which releases funds for recovery. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
I'm Liani Tibbetts, Miss World Cayman Islands 2022, and I need your help to keep Cayman clean. When you're out and about, please dispose of your trash in the proper containers. Do not throw trash out of your car or leave it on our beaches. And if you see litter, take a moment to pick it up and dispose of it properly.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio. Just want to remind you, our phone lines are open. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord@candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. We're getting lots of WhatsApp messages as well. If you don't want to communicate, but you just want to follow us, you can do that by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream or follow us on Facebook as well. One of our listeners has written and said, good morning. Can you say who's really in charge of actually making these laws and the recommendations and the drafting of these laws? Is this all done by Caymanians? Many Caymanians don't really understand the processing of how and why these are implemented. Well, when it comes to immigration legislation, nationality legislation, right? We need to first look at it from the standpoint that we are a British colony. I think it was, what was it? The Spanish War. Forgive me for my history there, or my lack of it. But so Britain obtained us basically from Spain. We then became a colony of the British. We remain a colony of the British, which means that they own us to a certain extent. Now, the United Nations basically saying that peoples, of any country should not be owned by anyone else. Hence, you have the decolonization committee that has been established and pushing to ensure that if we are in a situation like we are in the Cayman Islands, that it is something that we have voluntarily agreed to, that we're not being forced by the British to remain a colony, that the options are there for us to decide if we no longer want to remain a British colony. But as long as we remain a British colony, then the whole issue of nationality will be determined, will be driven and governed by the United Kingdom. Now, what the British have done for us, they will say, is that they have allowed us to craft our own local legislation when it comes to persons' ability to enter the Cayman Islands, to remain in the Cayman Islands, to reside in the Cayman Islands, to work in the Cayman Islands. So that is our local legislators who are charged with that. Now, we also have a passport law, but folks, don't let that mislead you in any way, because the passport law that we have has nothing to do with how you qualify for a BOTC Cayman Islands passport. That is determined by the United Kingdom under the British Nationality Act 1981. So we have control over work permits. We have control over residency. We can draft legislation in relation to that. With the concurrence and agreement of the United Kingdom, we can determine who's eligible to vote and who isn't, because that's in our constitution. But whenever we change our constitution, it has to be done in consultation and with the assent of the United Kingdom. So I hope and I trust that that answers that person's question here. So when it comes to local legislation or immigration laws or planning laws and things of that nature, but there are exceptions to that as well. If there are laws or issues where the United Kingdom has entered into international treaties and we are a part of that, then the United Kingdom is going to have a say in that as well. One example is the legalization of marijuana. We have seen what they have said to the British Virgin Islands. We have seen what they have, and when I say they, the United Kingdom, have said to Bermuda in relation to that. We have international obligations when it comes to this issue. So until we are satisfied, and we're not at this point in time satisfied that we're not contravening our international obligations, we're not going to allow you to introduce the legislation that you want to introduce. So, for instance, in Bermuda, the governor has refused to assent to the legislation that relates to that as well. So again, Ryder, I hope and I trust that that answers your question. If you have any more, please bring them in as well. And this person has written and said, remember, the Cayman passport is only available to British overseas territory citizens too. Right, yeah. And believe it or not, we have a passport office here, but what the passport office does is vet your application, collect all of the information, the data and stuff like that, and you know where it is printed and where a final determination is made. It is made in the United Kingdom. And why is it made there? Because they're in control. It is their citizenship that they're, the passport that they're approving for you, signifying that you are a British Overseas Territory citizen. We have two callers. Let's grab the first caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record.
Hey, good morning, Doc. How are you? How are you? Thanks again. Thanks very much, for filling in. Looking forward to getting things settled in for next week. Again, have you in?
Okay, thank you. Why are you saying that we are owned by the British to an extent? The word to an extent.
Well, if I use that term, we all the way. We're owned by them.
We owned by
period.
Them. From 1655.
Yeah.
We were owned by them since 1655. We are their property.
Mm-hmm.
We are their political property. Our land is owned by them.
That's why they call it Crown land.
That's right. Our land is owned by them. And the problem that we have, that people do not understand, you cannot have citizenship when you are a colony because you do not have international sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
And you do not have international sovereignty. And the problem that we have is if someone says, who writing these laws and stuff, that's because we have not educated our people as to the reality that they face and the reality of living in a colony. We actually believe that we are more like Americans and so forth when I say them. And a lot of people in this country, the only information they get is from CNN, the Compass, Cayman News Service, and all that stuff. They have no knowledge of who we are and what they are. And that's a problem that they have. Britain, we are owned by the British. And just look at our constitution. We are only allowed to do certain things locally that they do not want to do themselves. They do not want to regulate some local things, so they gave it to us under this administrative document that we call the Constitution. And the problem that we have is that they own us. They have the last word. Our passport is their passport.
Mm-hmm.
They can revoke that from me or you anytime, and you can travel to any country without a passport. They can revoke that anytime that they want. And the other thing is that under the Constitution, they has the last decision making, Section 81.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those things, they are the executive people who are in control of the legislature or the parliament. Those are only nomenclature words, but they do not mean that you have any autonomy over your own affairs. You have nothing, no autonomy. They can change the Constitution tomorrow, and even when you talk about going toward independence or in a full internal self-government or whatever sort of autonomy that you're asking for, they can dictate the terms. You get independence and autonomy on their terms.
Yep.
On their terms. And that is the reason why we have all this confusion in the country. Because people think because they go to Panama or they go to America, they go to Jamaica or Trinidad or Barbados, that they have a citizenship that we are the same. We are not the same. We are just elevated. The name changed from British subjects of the crown. And now we are called British Overseas Territorial Citizens.
And Doc, if I may interrupt you, one of the proof of their uncertainty as to really what they want to call us. Remember, I said initially we were citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies up until 1962 and about there, and then that was changed. Then in the 80s, they called us a British dependent territory citizen. They felt that was too pejorative. Then they decided to call us British Overseas Territory Citizen to sort of like sanitize it a little bit. But if you put lipstick on a pig, that doesn't change it at all.
It's still a pig.
Yep.
And the problem is that why they change the name from citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies and so forth is because they realized they had made a grave mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Because we would then have the right to go and live and remain.
Yes.
And when they discovered that, they changed it, and then they changed it to patriots and non-patriots because they thought that would change the situation. Patriots is when you have the right to live and remain in Britain, and non-patriots is when you didn't have the right to live and remain in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
And it caught people like Australia and India and New Zealand and all those places, and they quickly had to change that. Now we are governed under the British Nationality Act 1981. So I don't own myself. I don't own myself politically, and not even economically. Because they have the last say in what we can do and how we can do it.
Yep.
And so our parliament job is only to regulate the local day-to-day affairs that they give us the right to do.
Yep.
And that's the reality that we face.
Okay.
And I don't see too many Caymanians exhibiting the propensity to go any further, to own their own selves and to own their own country and to dictate their own position in this global world.
Doc, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for that. We have to go to a commercial break. We'll be in touch with you. Thanks again for your contribution. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
West Bay Pharmacy. Personalized medicine, customized care to meet your specific needs. Your body is unique to you. Your medicine should be too. Whether you're seeking individual specific medication, correct size dosages, or simply better tasting medicine, ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about how compounding at West Bay Pharmacy can increase your treatment options, not only for your family, but for your pets too. West Bay Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sundays and most holidays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Stop kicking that old washer or dryer and stressing out. Brand Source Home Gallery is having an August laundry sale. Save up to 15% on all brands. That's right, save up to 15% on GE, Samsung, LG, Beko, Frigidaire, Electrolux, and even heavy-duty commercial washers and dryers, both gas and electric. Shop Brand Source Home Gallery in August and find the island's largest selection of washers and dryers and save during the August laundry sale. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000.
Homeowners, protecting your family and property is crucial during the season, and you should always assess insurance needs long before a storm makes landfall. Most insurers won't issue new policies or increases when a storm is imminent. Cayman Insurance Center's team of professionals can help owners like you find the most comprehensive coverage and competitive rates. Call the insurance professionals at Cayman Insurance Center 949-4657 or email info@cic.com.ky. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call Cayman Insurance Center's insurance professionals today at 949-4657.
For 55 years, Cayman Airways has been serving as the national flag carrier of the Cayman Islands. This honor is the core of our identity, our purpose. And when we say those who fly us love us, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. So we're celebrating this milestone anniversary with you, our treasured community, with airfares on sale for travel to all of our fall destinations. But hurry, this airfare sale ends August 12th. Call 949-2311 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Celebrating 55 years as your national flag carrier.
Looking to grow your business? We got this. Yellow Media Group has a proven track record for successfully marketing over 10,000 businesses on the web, expanding our customers' reach and providing measurable results. With the Caribbean's largest team of certified digital consultants, we handle everything from website development to search engine marketing and much more. So don't worry, we got this. For a free consultation, contact Lee Hipkins at 936-1981.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Morning. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Oh, see, I listen, man, about the thing there with England, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is England not going to sign us off with recreational marijuana for the legal? I know that, right? But they will not say anything about us farming marijuana for medicinal use because we already have it here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And under the World Health Organization, the one that shut down the world, they was lobbied by the United Nations, right? And now they say that marijuana is not on the drug list. It is now known for its medicinal and therapeutic values. And this, I didn't make this up. I didn't dream this up, right? Right? So, I mean, you can, what about people say you can gargle it? Don't Google it, gargle it up and see. No. England has a lottery system, right? Right? Yeah?
Yep.
So England, we don't have to do nothing. All we can say, we want lottery. England not going to say a thing about it. Nothing. But for some reason, but I know the reason. Our water is too passive. And the elected leaders know that. It's just like the marijuana. Man, 20 years go to doctors, the naked man and the pharmacist. And you mean a farmer can't go to sell it to them to be processed? That is discriminating one section of our society to make money over it, and the other section can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
That is discriminating. It's discriminating against the farmers. But you know what? Like I told people, you see the gay pride that we are down? And I tell them, I say, oh, and the Rasta man, if you put on a T-shirt with the ganja leaf, all of us that smoke weed, and just call the police and if we want to have a march too, then the politician will say, I don't think these people serious. But We're not doing it, sir.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that you should carry your campaign beyond just calling up on the talk shows and talking about it, because there are several people who do, but that you need to more forcefully and openly express your support.
Yeah, but you see, like I tell the youth, them, the young young, just smoke on the whole, I want to say something. And one of those people that you see that organize that give pride in they think they're registered voters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they are registered voters. And I go to my young people, I say, friend, I trying to get this thing done. What do you do? Well, we're not registered. I say, well, the referendum will come up. If that ever comes up, you don't have no say because you are not registered.
So true, so true.
And the politician, listen, the politician know that. So all you're doing is pissing in the ring. But when you go to a household and you say, listen, I got 8 votes from here, this one got out, and we want that, or you not getting back in? But I try to educate my people. But look here, I'll be 65 years old next month. And I didn't realize what 9 was for. Huh? The person did.
I've heard of it too, and but I'm really not certain of the significance. Tell me.
Well, the significance is just like election. 9 days after the election, everybody forget about it. It's just like the date 9 days after what they don't forget about it. But I'm telling my people, and I mean, you know something, I really and truly, when you vote for something, but you see they got an Arvid Kemanya, that, I'm not voting, it don't make sense to me registering, and that's what they want. That's power for their little trick,
Mm-hmm. Do you think you'll get any support? Do you think you'll get any support from the expatriate community here in relation to legalization? Or you think that they would be too timid, especially if they're on a work permit, to say that they support such a move because it may be misinterpreted?
See, let me tell you something. At least 60%, now, and this is conservative, at least 60% of people on work permit in Cayman Islands smoke marijuana. Because the construction, you know who the majority of them is, right? And when I had my crew, almost every one of my crew that I had on permit was from yonder. Couldn't bring no liquor on the job. But we were burning and building. Burning weed and building houses. And look here, all of those bartenders and waitresses and things from all over Europe, America and Canada, every one of them is smoking marijuana morning, noon, and night. I mean, look here, see, I would like to collect the money on marijuana from Georgetown Graveyard to West Bay Graveyard to Seven Mile. All of the marijuana that gets smoked up there in 1 year, I could buy a hot tub so we could sail around the Caribbean. You hear what I tell you?
I believe you. I believe you.
I know, I'm telling you that, then. So, I mean, well, and about the expats, let me tell you something. All of the foreigners here that was on my side of the country, of the island, that was registered to vote, all of the foreigners, I can guarantee you this, everyone voted for me because they was sick of just hearing somebody talking over the lit people and my lit. No, they wanted reality. They wanted something real, something to believe in. They want something to believe in.
Yep.
And I give them that. Look, it's no other part. Look, I go down in the history of Cayman Island. I've been the only politician to come out and campaign wholesale with no backing belt for marijuana. I don't know what I go on.
But I'm sure you want to do more than go down in history for it. You want to accomplish it.
I want to accomplish it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to. Oh, see, I drive and cross the road. I just drive and cross and I start to pull off. And I see the older people. I see the women along the road cleaning up the bush. Those people could be in an air condition, picking up marijuana, making $15 an hour. Not in a nice robust, a nice environment. And the revenue that the government would make off of that, millions of dollars a year. It's just like the money going through here. You tell me we can't cap a 1% off that or 0.5%? Huh? But just we're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just keep up the fight. Keep advocating. But like we said, if you can get people out there, you have used the Pride community as an example of them getting out there and expressing themselves. So other than just getting on a talk show or several talk shows and talking about it, if you can get together all of those proponents of some form of legalization, then that's the way to go. Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. We do have another caller on hold. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will take that caller. So, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
He had founded it upon the seas. The importance of laying strong foundations runs deep in our Cayman Islands. And sometimes those foundations are laid up high in the sky. As Cayman Airways celebrates their 55th birthday, we remember the foundation they have laid for us. The bridges built, connecting Caymanians to the world. Memories made, dreams fulfilled.
On behalf of the Cayman Airways family, thank you, Cayman Islands, for 55 years of support for your national flag carrier. And here's to many more.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We do have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I've been listening keenly to some of the previous callers and what was said about the Cayman Islands with the overseas territories and the status grants and the citizenship and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
I did a diligent research on the information that was given out to us about the status grant. The British government said that we should do something about the people that should have been allowed statuses, yes. But there's no way the British government said that it should have been handled in the way it was handled by our own Caymanians that went into churches in all over to get names to give those people status grants, even as far as Nigeria, to bring them into our island to give all of this status grant to those people. Now, what I see and many others see, this was a devastating blow to the Cayman Islands. What we have here now, we will never, ever be able to correct that again. And I am saying this openly. It wasn't the British government that did all of this now that we're going through. It was our own Cayman people that was happy to do that. What they wanted. Is it now because they know that there's more of those people from foreign that can vote than us? That's the only reason I see.
Yeah, and some people speculate that that may have been one of the reasons, yes. Mm-hmm.
But it is very disheartening to see what's happening to the Cayman Islands. So when we sit down and try to criticize the British about this, I say publicly that what has happened to us is our own self-inflicted wounds, a lot of it. Mr. Connor, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. And just to add to what the caller has said, basically there was some concern about the length of time that people were allowed to remain in the Cayman Islands and not offered any security of tenure. There was no indication whatsoever that the United Kingdom was going to legislate on our behalf in that area at all. No indication whatsoever. And may I remind our listeners that when the whole status grants kicked off, it kicked off with a few being done, and the immigration board at that time and the status and PR board, or the immigration board actually, being advised that this was being done. And then it started to mushroom, and it started to have the snowball effect, and then it started to pick up until remember when the police station was almost literally overrun by people requesting police clearance certificates so that they could provide. It was done so haphazardly. That, folks, is a huge, huge stain on the Cayman Islands, and it is one that we will remember for a long time because of the knock-on effect that it has had. And we're starting to see that prominently display itself now. Now is when we're starting to see that 20 years down the line. I believe we do have another caller, Paul. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, Mr. Connor again. Hello?
Go right ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm not sure if you're hearing me.
Hello?
Paul, he's having some problems with his line. Until we are able to make that connection, I want to thank one of our listeners who has written in and said, let me find this, who has written in thanking, here's what the caller said. Good morning, you and your team at Radio Cayman. And they're happy that I had a good break. And they also want to thank Miss Susan, Miss Anita. I also want to thank Paul for an excellent, well, this part has to do with the Royal Cayman Islands Police segment on recent scams that was covered yesterday as well. And they want to thank our our team here at Radio Cayman for that as well. Let's share other messages. Okay, this other person said the form, when applying for the right to be Caymanian, there is an affidavit to be filled out by the parent and must indicate their domicile, yet the form has on it that the Immigration Act does not have domicile. Imagine that. Yes, domicile, I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding, when changes were made to the immigration law, domicile presents an issue sometimes, a conundrum. And domicile has been interpreted by the courts as a state of mind. So it is not what you've done, but also what you intended to do. So after the 1972 Caymanian Protection Law and its other amendments, the word domicile was removed from there and replaced with something else. So because domicile proved to be tricky. We do have a caller. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, Mr. Connor, I don't know what happened a while ago, but anyhow, we got it going now.
Okay,
yeah.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir. I spoke about this issue a few days ago when you wasn't here on the same show, I think, because I spoke with Dr. McFeel about it and stuff like that, because I want to know who and the question I think you answered, Mr. Orman, a while ago, who made this law.
No, the law was introduced in our legislative assembly by Mr. Benson Ebanks in 1973, even though it was called the Immigration Law of 1972. It was introduced by Mr. Benson Ebanks. Mr. Panton was the chairman of the board, Immigration Board.
People come here and become more Caymanians than the Caymanians born here. And now, I don't know if it's a joke or what, because I am hearing now that you can go to the immigration and get a certain paper to prove that you're a Caymanian. I don't know if that's true, because
there are some people who have to.
I was born in Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
I have a birth paper say I was born in Georgetown, but then I've been to the immigration, they tell me I'm not really a Caymanian. And biblically, even the Bible says wherever you're born, if you're born in Jerusalem, you're from Jerusalem.
Well, since biblical days, that has been changed. So some countries have adopted the fact that you take the nationality of your parent as opposed to the country that you're born in. Germany, for years, in order for you to acquire German citizenship, you had to have German blood flowing through your veins, as well. So that from biblical days, that has changed to a certain extent.
Yeah, well, anyhow, my Bible tell me God don't change. His law don't change. But anyhow, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, we discussed that earlier this morning. We discussed that whole issue, yes.
It's very funny that people born here are the real Caymanians. I don't understand that. And the ones that come here is more Caymanian than me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that. Some other guys explain that better to me.
And, of course, there are people who are born in the Cayman Islands who are not Caymanian as well, simply because our law now defines, if you were born in the Cayman Islands, and that's the British Nationality Act that we're talking about. If you were born, and it doesn't even mention the Cayman Islands, they basically pooled us into one. If you're born in one of the overseas territories, in an overseas territory, here are the qualities that you have to be deemed to be a British overseas territory citizen. If you were born outside, here are the qualities that you have to have as well. So, again, caller, you still there? Okay, caller's gone. So, this person says, OC, for goodness sake, what about Bermuda? BVI, Montserrat, Gibraltar, aren't they also British overseas territory citizens? Do they have a similar conundrum such as ours? I would say that everyone has it in their own right. It depends on the local legislation that they have crafted, whether or not it includes anything in relation to being a British overseas territory citizen. For instance, in Bermuda, in order for you to acquire Bermudan status, there are people born in Bermuda who do not have Bermudan status. They are battling with that whole issue as well. As a matter of fact, what Bermuda is doing now, and there was an article that I forwarded to my, for the record, email address to share with you at some point in time. Bermuda, over the next, is it 5 years, I believe it is, they want to increase their population by something like about 8,000 persons, on an average of over 1,000, maybe 1,500 per year, because of the situation that they have now. Some people may ascribe that the challenges that Bermuda's having now to the fact that at one point in time their immigration legislation was so restrictive that it wasn't really that attractive for persons to work and live in Bermuda, and many of them left. Some coming to the Cayman Islands, where we had and still have a much more liberal immigration policy when it comes to work permits as well. In the British Virgin Islands, for instance, when you are naturalized as a British Overseas Territories citizen, you basically acquire your BVI status at the same time. You acquire both. So there are some overseas territories that still tie the acquisition of British Overseas Territories citizenship with the grant of their local status, what it used to be called. Remember what it used to be called years ago? The old immigration law referred to it as you belonging to a particular country. The use of that word, and it's a pity I didn't have Dr. Steve with me this morning here, but he mentioned it in his call-in. The reason that they use the terminology belonging says that you belong to a particular territory. You belong to Turks and Caicos. You belong to Cayman Islands. You belong to Bermuda. You belong to the British Virgin Islands. You belong to the United Kingdom. That is why they used to call it belonger status. They tied it to the particular jurisdiction that you were residing in. Of course, we changed that, so we call ours now Caymanian status. We sort of like moved away from that, the right to be Caymanian, the right to be this, the right to be that. And to answer the person's question, the reason why the Cayman Islands, we are in the conundrum that we are in today as far as our immigration legislation is concerned, that we have constantly amended our immigration legislation. In my view, we have constantly amended it to favor those wanting to come and reside in the Cayman Islands rather than protecting the interest of the Caymanians. Remember the generational Caymanians. Remember, at one point in time, folks, it was called the Caymanian Protection Law. Now, even though it was, that terminology was borrowed from Bermuda, because they had what was called the Bermuda Protection Law, we used to call it the same because the intention then was really to protect Caymanians. I will end that section before we go to our commercial break with that thought. It was called the Caymanian Protection Law at what point in time. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her J and money transfer card. It cost me less, and props she use the card pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
No, man. I'm tired of seeing a new charge on my phone bill every month.
You are always complaining about that bill. I think it's time you make that switch to Digicel.
I've been with my network for more than a decade. I don't know if I want to move over now.
Well, better later than never. When you switch to Digicel, you get better speeds, more data, and simply more value. Best of all, no dishonest practices. What they say is what you get. Make that switch today and get 50% off your first 2 months.
50% off my first 2 months? Mary, you're convincing me now. Okay, I'll visit a Digicel store near me.
Experience the bigger, better network. Switch your postpaid number to Digicel for 50% off your first 2 months or get a free 30-day Prime bundle for prepaid customers. Make the switch today.
For 55 years, Cayman Airways has been serving as the national flag carrier of the Cayman Islands. This honor is the core of our identity, our purpose. And when we say those who fly us love us, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. So we're celebrating this milestone anniversary with you, our treasured community, with airfares on sale for travel to all of our fall destinations. But hurry, this airfare sale ends August 12th. Call 949-2311 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Celebrating 55 years as your national flag carrier.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. I'm going to check all the WhatsApp messages, all of the emails to make sure that I have, I got a list of them here. Hopefully we can cover all of them. We do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Okay. So there's this back and forth with one of our listeners. Let me look at this again. So we were debating about the Cayman, and the person said, no, Cayman was not British by conquest. It was British by settlement. See Elizabeth Davis, The Legal System of the Cayman Islands. Also, The Dependency Question by Nicholas Sykes. And I wrote back and said, we were ceded by Spain under the Treaty of Madrid in 1670. And then the person goes on to say, no, Caymans were not, Jamaica was, but the Caymans were not. Spanish never had jurisdiction here. And then they go on to say that is something that is often said, but documentary evidence says otherwise. See material cited above. And I will study that material as well, and I'm not sure whether or not they're taking into consideration the fact that the Cayman Islands were governed as if they were a part of Jamaica as well. So there's a huge debate in relation to that. But I guess that's what happens when you get someone else to write your own history, huh? Just asking, just a question, just a comment. That is what happens when someone else writes their own history. Okay, and this person said, it would benefit Cayman so much more to have a casino than selling our jobs and our lands from work permits and permanent residency grants. And this person has said, person says if their grandson was born in 1999 to a father who was born of his father and myself of multiple generations, his parents were married prior to his birth. His mother is a Canadian citizen who gained Cayman status in the massive grants. He has a Caymanian passport and a Canadian passport. He has a birth certificate of his father and himself. However, he's told that he needs to prove that he's Caymanian. What more would he need? Well, what he needs to do is to take that documentation. He's born in 1999. So that would have been, we would have had the Caymanian Protection Law 1984 that would have been in effect. So he has to take all of the documentation, his birth certificate, his father's birth certificate, marriage certificate, I believe, as well, to and then they will look at the documentation and issue a document affirming that the possesses Caymanian status. That's what has to be done in this case. Person says that they're being the devil's advocate in this case. I think that the legal drafters should ensure that the suggestions that are provided to those that request these laws are also skillfully drafted and made to be beneficial to their offspring and their countries. Well, the thing is that the conundrum that we have, if you notice, right, that independent countries, sovereign countries have no problems with this issue of citizenships. When you acquire citizenship, it avails you to all of the privileges that go with citizenship, including the privilege to hold a passport of that country, right? Even those countries that were formerly colonies, when they adopted their constitution and their own laws, they made provisions for whatever citizenship that you had at that point in time, for that to transition to the citizenship of that country. Let's say, for instance, a Jamaican citizenship. So the Jamaican Constitution basically says, those with the coming into effect of their constitution, it defines who has citizenship, and that stays, with you. Nothing else that they need to do. Now, let's use Cayman as an example. If under the West Indies Act of 1962 and all of the other things, we became an independent country, then we would have to say, at the time of the coming into effect of our new constitution, where we are conferred or independence, we would have to say all of those persons who are residing in the Cayman Islands, we would have to say which ones now are deemed to be citizens of the Cayman Islands and which ones are not deemed to be citizens. After that, what you have to do in order to become a citizen would be probably through the process of naturalization or registration, whichever one we want to call it, naturalization, if you want to call it naturalization, to be naturalized as a citizen of the Cayman Islands. Right now, we have the conundrum that we're in because we are still a British colony. We are still a possession of the United Kingdom, but we have been able to craft legislation that one time said we belong to the Cayman Islands, even though we belong to the UK, but we belong to the Cayman Islands by way of the United Kingdom. Then we changed that to Caymanian status, then we changed it to the right to be Caymanian. So the reason the other countries don't have that conundrum is they are sovereign. Their constitution spells out who's Caymanian, who isn't. Now, with that, I want to, like I said, I followed Radio Cayman while I was away, as well. And there was some, oh God, I'm just having a senior moment now. It just slipped me. I'll come back to that. Just slipped me. This other person says, good morning. In Singapore last month, they hung a woman for marijuana. Oh, okay. I think it was importation of it, yes. It says voter card proves that one is Caymanian because only Caymanians can vote for their members of parliament. Let's look at this other one. Person says, okay. This one is pretty long. They're bigging up the West Bay seniors who took a trip to the Beacon Farm in Northward yesterday. Was enjoyed by 65 to 90, including our youth organizers, Salida Powell and Vanda Powery. The person then goes on to say, my granddaughter born that same year too, but to both Caymanians' parents, but only holds a passport to be the Cayman Islands. They should only hold the country that they took their citizenship. That and I must say that is not holding 2 or 3 other passports as well. Well, some countries recognize dual nationality, others do not recognize dual nationality as well. Again, sovereign countries determine their citizenship, and it's only, it's quite clear, under what conditions you do that. You still have the possibility of offering permanent residence to people as well. And let's see, this one says, thanking for the contributions. And this is, let's see if I can, okay, okay. By the way, I'm being the devil's advocate, thank you. Okay. So yes, folks, our immigration issue is one that needs to be resolved. It's a challenge for us here in the Cayman Islands. It will continue to be a challenge unless and until our legislators decide that changes need to be made. The same way that one administration could take the bold step to say that resulted at the end of the day almost 2,500 persons being granted Caymanian status. The same way a bold administration can decide today, listen, we're going to put a cap on this. We're going to have some control over it because we cannot continue to leave the floodgates wide open. Folks, great to be back. I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension for the record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There's always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman, where it can't get any better. You can't get it from any better source than Radio Cayman. I also encourage you to join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks on Talk Today, and again, thank him as well as Mr. Simon Boxall, Dr. Steve Macfield for filling in for me in my absence as well. And as usual, folks, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands, despite the fact that we are British Overseas Territory citizens, and there is a strong reluctance, there's a strong opposition to changing that status, despite the fact that many complain about it. Have a great day. God bless.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel. Cayman